Hi y'all! My name is Courtney and you are watching the very first vlog for If You Give a Mom a Book. I have been running an Instagram page for many years called If You Give a Mom a Book. Tagline from If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, but if you give a mom a book, she's gonna need some free time to go with it. I love the IG community, love the Bookstagram community, but that being said, I am a big user of the YouTube platform. I have many YouTube, BookTube vloggers that I follow, and I felt like it was a space that needed another voice from another perspective, because many of those voices I'm finding are a lot of younger, single, childless girls, which I love and identify with that age group because I have a 14-year-old daughter, so a lot of what some of these vloggers are reading, she loves to read too. It's a great discussion point. But that being said, life and reading for a job is different when you're in your mid-30s, like myself, and you have 3 kids, and you're running kids everywhere, and you have a husband, and you can't just read for a solid day straight because life is still very much happening. I'm not dogging on any of those vloggers. They're cute. I love them. Haley fam, love you. Destiny Sidwell, love you. So many famous vloggers. However, I feel like there's a space here for other moms like me that if you give a mom a book, she's gonna need some free time to slog through that thing. That being said, please follow me over on Instagram at If You Give a Mom a Book. We do coffee chats over there. I review books a little bit more in depth on those coffee chats, and it's a good time. But that being said, welcome to If You Give a Mom a Book on YouTube. Along with me, Courtney, I also want to introduce y'all to my sidekicks. While yes, I do have 3 actual human children and a husband, the other big time commitment besides reading and parenting in my life is our pets. We have quite a zoo going, and if I'm reading a book, it is likely I am piled with pets while I'm doing it. So we have some of our main characters, our main male characters in my life are all of our 8,000 dogs. No, just kidding. We have 3 dogs. Breck is our oldest golden, and I'm going to introduce you to him, and Ridge is our Aussie Doodle, who's slightly unhinged, a little bit neurotic. We're not really sure what all happens inside that big fuzzy brain of his, but he is 2 years old. So let you meet the cast of all the dogs. Okay, first off, we're going to say hi to Breck. Breck, say hi! Say hi! Breck is an American Golden. He's 5. He's a sweetheart. He's actually super hyperactive. I don't know why he's so sleepy this morning, but you'll see the better side of him soon, I'm sure. This is Ridge. This is the version of Ridge we would like all the time. The sleeping one that lays down and does nothing, instead of the one that sneaks in our pantry and eats entire loaves of bread. Right, Ridge? See if I can get his eyes. He's there. Okay, anyways, on to Boston. We have Boston. He's an English cream golden. He's a really great puppy, except for when he makes a mess in his cage in the middle of the night, and that's how I get to start my day. But he's a cutie, and it won't be long until he's big like his older brother. And he is definitely always in my lap when I have a book right now. So you will see lots of Boston. You'll get to watch Boston grow up. Breck, you look so sad. Why are you so sad? I see a little tail flick over there. I knew it. I knew you couldn't resist me. Okay, so now that you've met the dogs, we also have 2 cats. One of them is Kitty. She's not the most social cat ever. She really only likes my son and myself, and she's pretty aloof, but she has become a patio cat the past couple of years, so she kind of comes in and out on her own, hangs out in the bunk room, looking out the window, watching the world go by. However, if I find the right cozy moment, she will come snuggle up with me and cuddle for a little bit. Mr. Waffles, aka MR Waffles, aka the hairless cat, is a personality in and of itself. I actually probably should have just included him in the dog introduction. So let's go meet Mr. Waffles, and you will see what I mean very quickly. Also, he's extremely loud and noisy, so when I'm doing vlogging, it is a very high likelihood that you will either hear dogs barking in the background or Mr. Waffles' bell tingling around the house. He runs around like a little monkey, or even just breathing. He's so loud. Waffles. Okay, here he is. Here is Mr. Waffles. He's noisy. He kind of sounds like a little wombat. Waffles, say hi. He's purring. Always, 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 always purring. And the last member of our crew is Miss Kitty, who can mostly just be found on my son's bunk bed, sleeping, napping, living her best life, looking out the window, and ignoring all the other pets. Right, Miss Kitty? Say yeah. Say hello, everyone. I'm a lot friendlier than I look. Be all of our reading buddies here on the vlog, and when you see them pop their head up in a video, I'm not going to edit it out because they're very much a part of this journey. Anyways, for our first vlog, I thought it's January, it's the very beginning of the year. What better time than now to start with what we hope to read through in January? I was going to compile my TBR for 2025, but to be honest, it's so massive, it would take my entire bookshelf coming off the wall, because honestly, I want to read them all in 2025, but I know that's not realistic, so I'm just going to break it down by month. Also, there's a ton of new stuff that's going to come out, and those are all going to be on my TBR. So I figure a 1 month at a time TBR with a wrap up should do the trick for us. Some disclaimers. I'm not a huge smut reader. If you are looking for a spicy Rex, probably not the page for you. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't become a mom of 3 kids because I hate spice, but it's just not something I enjoy when it comes to listening to other people's romantic endeavors. Not to say I won't read something with a little bit in there, but if it's heavy in spice, it's probably not for me, and it's probably not gonna get the best rating if I even finish it at all. And I also really do not like corny, cheesy Hallmark reads. I wanted to love the Pumpkin Spice Cafe so much, but it felt so flat for me because the entire time I felt like it was something my 6-year-old could have written, and then you got to these unnecessary spice scenes and then back to 6-year-old writing. Not that I'm dogging on anybody who loves that palette cleanser, easy breath of Hallmark fresh air, but I'm not a Hallmark movie girl. In fact, I'm not even a movie girl or TV show girl at all. I could care less if any of these books make it onto the big screen because I probably won't watch it, and I probably won't even know that it's on this on the TV. I also don't listen to many audiobooks. I know, gasp, in today's day and age. Not saying I don't pick up one here or there, but by and large, I am more of a physical book girly. I even struggle to read on the Kindle, though I have one, and I'm in a constant battle with myself about Kindle versus physical. I love being able to read in the dark when my husband's sleeping and he turns off the lights, and I'm totally annoyed by that. But outside of that, well, and the fact that you can read like 400 times superhuman speed with a Kindle for some very unknown reason, that I find it really difficult to feel like it's a full experience whenever I'm reading on my Kindle. It drives me crazy. So I read a few things on my Kindle here and there, mostly read physical books, and I very rarely listen to an audiobook. Every once in a while I'll get a good audiobook. Okay, with that being said, let's grab my January TBR. And also, disclaimer, I'm already 1 book in this year, but here we go. Okay, let's see. What do we have here? We have The first book I've already finished in 2025. Granted, I say already, like, it's like 8 days in. This is not impressive. The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Allie Carter. I read this. I was really hoping to read it around the holidays. It got crazy. It got stressful. It just didn't happen. But I still really wanted to read it. People raved about it. They said it was so cute, so good, and they weren't wrong. I gave this book 3.5 stars. I probably could have given it 4, but by and large, it was cute. It was also intriguing. There was a murder mystery element. We have Maggie. We have Ethan freaking Wyatt, as Maggie refers to him often. And they are rivals to lovers. They are solving this mystery at an old mansion from a famous writer has invited them to spend Christmas with her, and then she disappears. They have to team up. Then they realize there's more than just chemistry there, that they actually have a history. And so it's a really good time. I enjoyed it. If you like Agatha Christie style, if you like Westingame, if you like Clue, I feel like this would be a good choice for you. There's a lot of literal clues, and there's a lot of whodunit, piecing, puzzling together. This was a good time. Although I have to say, what is with the characters on this cover? I just feel like they are not good looking here. This does not make me want to fall in love with these people. Good thing in the book they're described much more attractively than this cover. Sorry. Okay, next on the list, I just picked this up and started reading it yesterday. I realize so many of you will have already read this series, but it's been on my TBR for a long time. However, I only wanted to read it during the winter months. So here we go. Frederick Bachman's Beartown. This is a trilogy, I think, and all 3 books are out. Again, this has been around for years. It actually is an HBO original series. I only know that because there's a sticker there. And honestly, I don't even know what it is about his specific writing style, but Frederick Bachman has a very lyrical way of writing. It's a very literal, like, actual human interaction type writing style. You live inside your character's head in present real-time timeline, and it bounces from multiple POVs, and I really enjoy his style. I read Anxious People. That was the first actual book I've read by him, and I ate it up in 2 days. I remember I started 2023 with Anxious People, first book of the year, and it was a 5-star read. I tried to read A Man Called Ove. Didn't love that one. I liked his writing style, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a big old people fan, so I got really bored really fast with the concept that we were following this old man around. This, however, Beartown, is a fictional town, basically from what I gathered, outside of Canada, that has nothing going for it except for the youth hockey team. And I am only 30 pages in. Obviously, this is on my January TBR, and we are on our way. The race has begun, and it's really good. The junior hockey team is supposed to revive the town, in theory. We also open this book with a total, like, jarring intro. Chapter 1 is very short. Late one evening toward the end of March, a teenager picked up a double-barreled shotgun, walked into the forest, put the gun to someone else's forehead, and pulled the trigger. This is the story of how we got there. Like, does that not make you want to read on, or what? Okay. Next on our list after that, I feel like I'm going to need something lighter and a little bit more of a romance. So I either plan on picking up Forever Never by Lucy Score, because again, we have atmospheric cover. I don't know a whole lot about this, but I do know that there's some like second chance romance in this one, and Lucy Score is romance to a T, so I feel like this could be a great feel-good book after I read through Beartown. If I don't pick up that one next, I'm going to dive into another book on my January TBR, which is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies and Book 2. I'm assuming I will run to read BookTube. Obviously, we're going to start with book 1 here. I have been hearing such good things about this. I bought these books back in October. I thought I might read them during the like magical, whimsical fall season, but turns out I'm actually feeling more of a spring vibe with these. If I don't read them now, I will read them in the spring. However, it is on my list to read this month. I think we're actually getting a third Emily Wilde book this year too. After that, I will probably grab another thriller, Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. This is a brand new release. Actually, I'm not even sure it's out yet. I need to double check. It either comes out this month or just came out, or possibly it comes out in February. I need to double check. But this is Alice Feeney's new book. I'm super excited about it. The premise of this is so fascinating to me. This is about a husband and wife, and the wife is in a car accident while she's on the phone with the husband. And she's talking to him post-accident, and then all of a sudden she's not there anymore, and she's completely missing and gone, and he cannot find her. And this is the story of the husband who spots somebody that looks exactly like his wife, and he's trying to piece all this together. Tell me that doesn't sound like a good time. After that, I'm going to bounce back into something feel-good with The Spell Shop. Again, heard great things about this. We're getting a second book of this as well. This I also had on my October TBR, but I ended up reading a bunch of horror and scary stuff instead of magical, so I'm bouncing back to some magical to pop in between the thrillers and romances this month. Like this, The Unmaking of June Farrow. People have been raving about this. This is by Adrienne Young. She's just come out with a new book that's in my book of the month that is on its way to me right now. And I want to make sure that I read this one before I pop into the next one. Even though I know they're both standalones, I just can't get past the fact that people have this on their top 5 books of 2024. So it's good, and I don't want to sleep on it and miss it and move on to her next book and not ever come back to it. So this is pretty high on my list this month. It might even be bumped in front of one of these. And in fact, the more I think about it, the particular order that I'm showing these is probably irrelevant because I am extremely moody when it comes to reading. All right, 2 more, friends, and they are big, bulky doozy. Last 2 books on my January TBR. All the Colors of the Dark. People loved this book. I followed Jordy's book club. It was his favorite book of 2024. But here is what I'm scared of. It is quite girthy. 588 pages, but they say it's gripping. They say it's amazing. And I just feel like this is definitely January vibes for me too. So I hope I get to it. If not, I might be starting off February with this. I am determined it is in my immediate future. And lastly, I have caved, even though I said that I hated this book cover, and I do. Quicksilver. People can't stop talking about Quicksilver. They say it's so good. They loved it, and we're gonna get a second book of this eventually too. I have to read it. I have to know why we love it so much. I could do without this cover, but I say that, and then what'll happen is a new cover will come out, and then I'll wish I had the old one. See what I mean? Anyways, Quicksilver, All the Colors of the Dark, The Unmaking of June Farrow, The Spell Shop, Beautiful Ugly, Emily Wilde, Forever Never, Beartown, and The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. That's what my January is going to be made of. Fingers crossed, but we have to get reading. I'm so glad y'all joined me here. Wait to have some fun over here on YouTube, share some experiences, share some reality of trying to read as a mom in real life and what those vlogs look like versus the vlogs of 24-hour reading challenges, because my daughter and her best friend love to do a 24-hour reading challenge, and I don't have 24 hours for this. So this is real life, mom life, and if you give a mom a book, she's gonna need some time. So I'm so happy you're here. I can't wait to share all of 2025's reads with you. If you have anything on your January TBR that is the same as mine, drop a comment below. Let's chat about it. Let's hop on a Fable book club, and let's make the most solitary activity out there something we can share as a community. All right, see you soon.